All right, part 2 of this series. Now, I left you guys off with that cliffhanger. I got to make these videos a little short, so I can't talk for an hour long. But yes, so we're in the Budget Suites apartment, or weeklies, or whatever you want to call it. And like I said, my brother and my friends were watching me do this, and they had no idea what I would feel, and they were kind of curious. So I end up hitting this quag for a couple hits, and that's all it really took for me to actually feel it. So I went from 0 to 100 real quick. My heart rate sped up like crazy. My heart was pounding. I went from being drunk to a sober in a matter of minutes. I didn't know what to really expect. So when my brother was asking me, like, what do you feel? And I was just like, I feel kind of sober. I feel tingly. I feel good. I felt energized. I felt really energized. And that's what it does to you. You have this incredible amount of energy from meth. You can literally be high and not eat because you have no appetite whatsoever for literally hours and days on, depending on how much of this drug that you have. So what the idea was is they asked me, oh, well, let's go do something. So you always want to do something on this shit. So we ended up going to this spot on the side of a supermarket, which had this red curb that we skated like a ledge that was above average height. So I think it was about 3 curbs high from a standard curb. And you skate it. So you do like tricks. And I remember doing a couple tricks. And something that stood out was I did a kickflip nose slide. I think it was like first or second try. And like I said, I wasn't really good at skating. So when I did that, I was just like, wow, that was pretty quick. And like normally it would take me several tries, or I'd have to get warmed up. And it was like I didn't even have to get warmed up. I did tricks kind of effortlessly, which kind of made me kind of addictive-ish to this drug. I don't know if that's a word, but you get the point. So trick skating came effortlessly, and I remember skating for hours and hours that night, and it was probably like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and we stayed there for like 3 or 4 hours, I think, if I could recall. And we ended up going back to the spot, and you know, I think my brothers crashed out, and I stayed up all night drawing and just tweaking out on stupid shit and just thinking. And the next day we ended up going home, and I felt miserable. I finally crashed out, I think maybe 2 days later, because when you're on this drug, like, you can literally stay up for days on at a time. It's crazy. It just gives you this energy, and just keeps you up. So I crashed out, and I remember waking up like feeling miserable and just wanting more of this. And this is where addiction kicks in. Like you do it, you crash out if you don't have any more, and I only bought a couple hits, and you want more of it. So I ended up calling the dude, and ended up getting a $20 sack, a dub. And my brother and his friends, you know, my friends, they all got curious and they wanted to experience this with me, and we all didn't know better. So the only way I knew how to do it was smoking it out of that bong. And they told me that you could snort it. So what we did is we would just smash it up, and we ended up snorting it to get high. And that was our alternative, because there was no way I was going to make that contraption. That didn't happen until later on, until I got more into it, that we started making bongs and gravity bongs and all this crazy stuff just to get high, just to make it more intense. So what we would do is we'd smash this stuff up, we'd snort it, and we kept buying it more and more often, and we would go skate on it, because like I said, skating came so effortlessly. And when you're on this drug, your concentration levels go above the roof, and you don't really give a shit about anything besides just at the time getting high and skating. We'd go to the skate park, this skate park called Patriot, and we'd literally just snort lines in the bathroom and then go and skate in the blistering heat. And keep in mind, this is Las Vegas. In the summertime, it is extremely hot. So we're dehydrated and our hearts are pounding. It's super unhealthy for sure. I don't even know how, to this day, that we were able to skate in that heat. And not just the heat, you know, when it was sunny out, like sometimes we'd we'd pull all-nighters. We'd stay at my friend's house, Chris's, and we'd just go skating at the stores around my place all night, and we'd come back in the morning, we pull all-nighters, and then and during the daytime, we'd just tweak out or whatever, and just draw or just do some stupid shit. So as the addiction progressed, my school studies during my 12th grade year, I started slacking in it, didn't really care. I started ditching. I started going to my friend's house to pick up sacks, and school didn't really matter to me. All I really cared about was getting high, and I would somehow figure out ways to get money to buy some more of it. And that was just an ongoing routine throughout my 12th grade year. To this day, I don't even know how I passed high school, but I did manage to pass it. I didn't graduate during my 12th grade year. I ended up going back later and getting my going to an adult education school to finally get my my high school diploma. So being this drug addict, and as my addiction increased, I started doing things that was out of my character, extremely out of my character. Like I got to the point to where you wouldn't want to bring me around people that had stuff, because I just didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about my real friendships. I would steal things, just like stupid, embarrassing things that I think of to this day that I can't believe I've done. And I would take things and I would end up pawning it, or my own stuff that I would have, I ended up pawning it for more money. That's how the addiction spirals out of control, and you start doing things that you just never thought you would do. And along the years, it just kept getting worse and worse. I've been in and out of jail so many times, I can't even count on my hands. I don't even know how many times I've been in and out of jail. And trust me, that's nothing to brag about. That is super embarrassing. And like to this day, the things that I've done for my past for job employments haunts me. And it sucks, and it's just you know, it's the repercussions of being a drug addict. You know, you get involved in this crowd where it comes with the territory. You're gonna get robbed. You're gonna end up robbing. You're gonna. There's been guns pulled out on me. I've been like, you know, knives pulled out on me. I remember this one time, my friend Chris, we were in his car. Oh, this is crazy. And this dude wanted to buy a sack, so I had stuff, and I was like, kind of like, I don't know if it's smart to say it, but like I was getting it for people. That's a good way. I was getting it for people, and I remember being in the back of this car, and my ex-girlfriend was in the front seat. My friend was in this seat, and the dude comes in to the back seat. And I was kind of sketched out in the beginning because I didn't know what to expect. And this dude was like, he was kind of like a thug, or whatever you want to think, or a wannabe thug, or I don't know. And he comes in the car and he asks me, he's like, okay, where's the stuff? I'm like, well, where's the money? He's like, oh, it's in the house. So do you want to run up? And I was already sketched out to begin with. When you're tweaked, you're always sketched. You're always on, you're always paranoid. You're always paranoid. And I was like, well, you can go in and get the scale. You can come back and we can wait in the car. And he went inside, and I was sitting back there, and I was like, I was sketched out, and I told my friends, I was like, I don't know, I'm not gonna run up there to do this. Like, I'd rather him come out here because I don't know him, and he seemed sketched out to begin with. So he eventually comes back in the car, and he's like, so where's it at? I'm like, well, where's the scale? He's like, well, just I don't have it. And he ends up pulling out like this knife, I don't know, like this long, and he points it at me, and he's like, give me the shit. And I was like, I was so stubborn, and like I wouldn't give it to him. And I told him, well, I already hid it because I already knew that you were playing, you know, some games with me. And he points at, he's like, you think this is a game? He's like, give me your shit now. He's like, I'm not playing with you. And you know, my friend was panicking up front, and my ex-girlfriend was like tripping out, and it was a chaotic scene. And somehow we managed to get out of the car. Oh, I remember, my ex-girlfriend had her phone on speaker. She called one of my homies that lives in the place, and he ended up coming out while this is happening. And then he got sketched out, and he saw one of my friends walking. So he opens his door, and then I opened the door. And then I'm on the outside of the car, and he's on this side of the car, and he's trying to run around. He's like, give me your shit, and like, we're pretty much, here's the car, and we're like going in circles like this, and you know, I was sketched out. And my friend starts coming up, and then he gets sketched, and he runs. So that's the type of stuff that like this kind of drug world involves, and it's gonna happen regardless. There's no safe boundaries in that world. Like that's what comes with the territory of drugs. You know, you're like you said, it involves like you being robbed, you either dying, overdosing, you know, you're gonna end up going in prison. That's just all stuff that gets involved in that realm. So he ended up running off, and then I never ended up giving him anything, but that was just a really one of those scary times that happens when you're just involved with that. And there's many stories that I've had, and I can't tell you guys all the stories, but that's just one that stuck out. That was pretty sketchy, you know. And like I said, I've had guns pulled out on me, and it's just stupid to think about. This is all just for this drug. Oh, this is crazy. Move that. This is all just for drugs, and it's just to get high. So me being involved with this, I ended up doing stupid things like I was arrested for a possession of a stolen vehicle. And I remember this. This is one of the last times that kind of in and out of jail that kind of like snapped me out of it. I get pulled over, and I have, you know, a couple friends in the car, and I am in a stolen vehicle, and I can talk about this because I have been charged for this. I get pulled over, you know, the cop pulls me out, and he asks me, whose car is this, you know, blah 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 blah. And, you know, I told him it's a friend's, like an idiot.
It's hockey, not competitive. This is a job for me. It's adrenaline.